So welcome back to Kentucky Route Zero Part 5. And when I just left after the song in Part 4, it's I had to listen to it again. Seems like the progress is not saved. And something more to say. We are actually in Act 3 and I skipped Act 2. So that's why I don't know this guy, Ezra, whatever he's called. And since we cannot save the progress and jump back to Act 2 right now, we'll go there after finishing Act 3. Could you pay them with their IOU? I haven't seen the conversation. Well, just zero. Oh god. What's that? You know what they're talking about? Tell you what. You point my friends and I to the zero and we call it even. Harry, are you folks sure you wanted to head down there? I've never been myself, but I hear people hear things, rumors. Do you know another way to Dogwood Drive? Dogwood? Got a letter, did you? I've got a stack of them. Well, okay, sounds like zero's your only course now. Harry, you're alright. If only. You got a radio in your car? Yep. Well, here's just what you've got to do. Here's take a left out of the parking lot and then just fiddle around and dial until you hear something familiar, but I mean familiar but strange. You know the feeling like I used to go hunt with my uncle out in the mountains and now I watch these nature programs. They're filled in the mountains and there's the deer, and I know all the plants and every kind of tree, but something just doesn't look right. And it's even stranger for being so close to familiar, something like that, you know when you hear it. Fix that strange but familiar station on your dial, drive for a bit, and then turn around when the station cuts out. I mean right then. Hope you folks find what you're looking for, eventually. Always a pleasure, Harry. Okay. So where the heck? Okay, here is my radio. Turn right. Did it say? AF FM. So this way. Okay. Okay. So what was the instruction then? Return to the zero. Tune the radio looking for a station that's familiar but strange. Drive for a while. Then turn around. Turn around. Okay. But I cannot drive while I'm tuning. Novel. I guess it's kind of music. This station does quite match the bartender's description. How do I know it is AM or FM? So this is the right station? No, I don't think so. What's this station? I've never heard this before. Sounds like horses running a race. The setting era has some horses year back. Charlie and I used to go races sometimes. Charlie, he was your boss kid, right? The one who must be some memories there. Charlie Brown. Well, that feels familiar but strange for me. Okay. So you are in a superstitious space. The horses. The horses are gone. Hall of the Mountain King. And the part I thought was Act 2 actually is an interlude, a short chapter between Part 1 and Part 2. I think they do not have that in the original release, where they only have like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So it's supposed to be some extra chapter, and there's more. Actually, I think that there's a short chapter between each act. So that means we skipped a long chapter and a short one between Act 2 and 3. Time to cut them loose, man. Why you guys come along? The bridge ends abruptly, crumbling in despair. You know, it's feeling more and more like the Silent Hill games. Where everything seems abnormal and the people are getting used to it. Everything feels strange, weird. A loop of decayed rope is coiled on the banister. Some rotted sections have been smoothed over with the fine dust. Computers, I love computers. Broken computer monitors are heaped precariously among the rocks. Well, if I have chance, then I send to YouTube. No one will bother to watch this anyway. A pet carrier for a cat or a small dog has been left by the path. The calcified rag wetted in the corner may once have been a blanket. A hiking backpack leaned against a rock. It's empty except for a dusty bag of cat food and a few punch cards. And a few punch cards, huh? A pile of discarded electronics burned steadily in the center of the chamber. Amy. Hi there. Oh, it's triangles within triangles down here. Shifting, intersecting, overlaying. Isn't it romantic? Let's see. To Shannon, you are here to steal back the love of a boy you once knew when you were too young to recognize the movement of the heart. And you are escorting her, pretending to have her interest at heart while really, you're in love with a young woman as well. And so you've agreed to help him conspire to win her affections. Oh, it's so complicated. But it's just a ploy to set him up for embarrassment and diminish him out of the picture. I used to be really good at this. I had 11 novels published, from The Billionaire's Beating to The Fields of Longing. Real hot. Body-stripping stuff, you know? I miss those days in my Lexington studio apartment, just me and my thesaurus steaming up the windows. I'm not sure you should be listening to this, kid. I'm not listening. But of course it couldn't last. You know, suddenly it was all computers everywhere you went. I thought I might be able to do something with that. Inject a little libido into those ugly beige boxes. Ha! So I went back to the university and I studied human-computer interaction, and I picked up Donald's research assistantship here as a tester, debugging. So this Donald must be an important guy, VIP. In my off hours, I played around with a doomed love story at the core of our little simulation. That seems to amuse Donald, so I kept at it. I'm afraid I tinkered too much, made it too complex. Now our work is never done. We don't even have to add any new functionality. The bugs just grow on their own. Too complex. Okay. Finished. Donald puffs on a smoldering pipe while half numbling, half singing an old country tune. Where the old green river runs through the hills and caves not known to us. Oh, who are you? What's that song? Oh, you've caught a verse of my absent-minded warbling. It's just a song of my youth. Something a dear friend used to sing to herself as we hacked on crystal radios in the boiler room. In old Kentucky, where my lovely home did build for me, and where the old green river runs through hills and caves now known to us down to that sunless sea. It's kind of like a riddle. From there on, it's all meandering rivers and romantic greenery, and that's what we were talking about. What's a computer over there? It looks pretty vintage. It looks like a harmless old computer, doesn't it? Like some beat-up mainframe exhumed from a university basement and left in this cave to rot or to flower. Nope, it's no ordinary computer. I've modified it extensively and in some pretty experimental ways, believe you me. and that's to say nothing to the software, nothing of the software, but you look like a technically minded sort of person. Do you know the effects of mold growth and diffuse phase transistor circuitry? The mold will burn up. Exactly, it burns, and oh, the sweet smoke that issues from it. But it also leaves a sticky reside to seep through the machine, forming new connections and creating new circuits. The computer is no longer the pure domain of language or mathematics, but entropy. The word and feeble we hammer on this direct-clicked keyboard. My name is Reason, King of Kings. But we are mere tourists in the ruins. Our keystrokes echo off into the tunnels. Boundless and bare, the caves stretch far away. We're too late, always too late. You know, I wonder what the timing setup of actually this act is. Because in the in the last part in the museum, it's like in the 1980s, but since you have computers, I guess at least it's 90s, sometime around that. What, did you say something? You were about to tell us about the software. Oh, the software. My life's work, Xanadu. You've heard of it? Perhaps you've read about it in a journal? It's been years since I published anything. Xanadu has evolved significantly since I explained its data structures in my article Literary Multitudes. Hypertextual narrative as post-structural witness. So it's AI, and then deteriorated. Donald sighs dramatically and takes a puff from his pipe. I'm afraid you're too late. Follow hypertext enthusiast. As the mold accumulated on the circuitry, Xanadu blossomed for a moment into something holy and enchanted. Then all the charm was broken. Do you have any idea what it's like to spend your life building something and then sit powerlessly as your work declines into ruin? Shuffling around the dusty ghosts of antiquity. Well, I have my own ghosts, and I keep them in there, in Xanadu. It's ruining that glorious dusty machine. Take a look if you'd like. Too late to do anything but smoke and reminiscence anyway. Far too late to do anything. Oh, so that piles of fire is his computer. Now I see. Do you know that when I first, if this cave were larger, now I'm getting ahead of myself. How would you characterize this space, the one we're standing in now? Kind of spooky? Spooky for a baby? I think we'd all agree that's a fair assessment. Let's unpack that for a moment. How to know it's spooky, or would be spooky for a baby? Tunnels. We're surrounded by them. Look at that one up there. Do you know what? No. Let me explain to you what's in that tunnel. You won't be scared. Okay. Not happening. Only if you close yours. Okay, I can do it from memory. Good. Now, you're standing at the top of a rocky peak. A tongue of flames lick the shadowy autonomies of... Oh, here again. Computers? I was writing on them. I described the cave. That was my job. Describe the cave. There's great history of caves in the literature, don't you know? The walls are frozen rivers of orange stone. Isn't that vivid? I had a lot to live up to. I was a grad student studying statistics when I started working with Donald on his project. He said we needed someone with a more analytical mind to do the descriptive writing, someone who could appreciate the cave descriptions as real labor instead of taking their authorial voice for granted. Donald warned me it would be long hours of typing painstakingly detailed descriptions into the computer, and I've put in the hours. Believe me, I've put in the hours. I've described every facet of this cave in such detail that sometimes I don't know if I'm reading or looking, writing or exploring. Often in the dark and lonely moments, I worry that my sleep I've transcribed rooms from my dreams into the system. How would we know? They could only be entered with precise, faithful detail. That's all I know how to write, and all I dream about is caves. I only dream of caves. Oh. Xanadu. Roberta. I gather old circuit boards and throw them in the fire. Sometimes I fish out precious metals and let them cool into toxic gems. I put them in my hair. This guy is crazy. So this is Xanadu. Baffling control panels are sheltered from the elements with a worn tarp. A closet-sized wall of knobs and wires looms behind the machine, humming faintly. An electric typewriter is the only easily recognizable component. Bzzz. How do you think we get it started? This old thing? Maybe there's a hand crank around. Oh, it has a run key. So now the story goes on. You know, the Donald has actually went to Route Zero and stayed there with his stupid computer, but Joseph went back into the oil station. How could that be? You are staring at the family bin or the subbreast. Or standing blah blah. Okay, that's worse. Type house. House. House of You are blah 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 Lula blah 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 blah. Did that say Lula? Lula. Donald as well. You know, I've got the machine and parts. School music. Joseph has his card, punch cards, and you got to old system can build a remnant magnetic field. It's so noisy. Hall of the Mountain Gink. What a piece of junk. Seems like more records from Lula and Donald. It's too noisy. Hall of the Mountain King. Gink. Gink. Bizarre. And what was that about Lula? Maybe Donald know how to clear it up a bit. So you've seen for yourself what's left of it. Is that the end? The chalky bones of a beautiful dream, but you can see what it once was. There was so much more to it. Ornate labyrinths of memory, exhaustively simulated parallel cave ecosystems, real artificial intelligence built on sophisticated neural network algorithms. The birds in the forest could flock in 3 dimensions, the bat could learn to sing. And then it began to crumble when the strangers came. I remember the times when artificial intelligence and neural networks are kind of new and hot words. Well, time goes on really fast. Lula Chamberlain? Yes, of course. Do you know her? We're looking for her now. No, she's gone now. She left. We built this together. Did you know? Lula, Joseph, and I. Lula is gone from here, but still in there, in Xanadu. I don't know where Lula is now, or how to get there from here, or how to unwind that damn tangled highway, but Xanadu before its ruin was faultlessly as an oracle, a shrine to perfect simulation. Those weird interlopers destroyed my Xanadu. Perhaps they know how to fix it. It may be dangerous. I've sent many eager seconds to negotiate with them to repair my masterpiece. Back there, that tunnel. Push back the vines. Crawl out into the darkness. Watch your step. After a while, you'll feel the terrain change beneath your hands and knees. From rock to crystal, and then to mud. Then you'll be out. Now leave me alone. I still have a bit of mold in my pipe and a few dreams left. Act 6. Act 7. Scene 7, actually, where the strangers come from. The texts are too big, they're coming out of the screen. It's a graveyard. Well, this can be right. Look like an old church. Worth a look inside, I guess. I want to stay outside. Okay, I'll stay with him. We can look for lizards. Okay, we'll make it quick. Okay. Yana Malisheva. Edouard Lombard and Sarah Fox. Rasmus Anderson. Michael Palin or Keith Goring? Brad Morris. Carlos Figueiredo. Unknown. I wasn't really looking. Why do you dress like a punk? Because you are a punk. A punk, haha. Now what's a punk dress like, kid? Can you tell me? I dress like Junebug specifically. It sounds lonely. Not for us. You've just got to make choice and own them. You think I was born this foxy? I came off at the assembly line about a half-foot shorter and all gray, no eyes. They're going to have us clearing out the old mine. Doesn't matter what you look like under all that rock and water. A bunch of gray shadows shoveling and hammering visibly at the walls, draining the tunnels. So you are also a miner. Joni found some gear. An old tape player. We hid away in an underwater cave and listened to it over and over, and we knew we weren't miners. We slipped out onto the road, just these two featureless shadows, and ever since that night we've been detailing, coloring in, specifying. I feel more like myself every day. I think I should be a musician too. Is that right? There you are. What'd you find in there? It wasn't. You look flushed, old man. It doesn't matter. Oh. Hall of the Mountain King. So we are back. And it's time to cut this part. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.